Hey guys, how's it going? Twigs here. So, in one of my previous videos, I discussed how Dendro managed to change the game for Kaching. Having access to Aggravate, Quicken, which leads into Aggravate, or even Hyper Bloom literally changed the game for Kaching. And it's been a renaissance for her viability in the game. But there is another character that saw a renaissance as well, but in a different aspect of what Dendro brought to the game. That being Burgeon Damage. And that character I'm referring to is the man Diluc himself. Burgeon, I didn't think would actually have too much viability due to how it was overshadowed by Aggravate and Hyper Bloom. But it turns out that there's one character that can really utilize it well. You can make an argument for Toma, yes, but Diluc as a main DPS, as a driver for the team, it is really good. Honestly, really good. So that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video, is how Diluc works really well in a Burgeon team comp. But before we jump into it, hit that like and subscribe button. It helps out my channel, helps out us growing a community over here. And if you do subscribe to the channel, you're subscribing to more gaming content like this from myself and other games like Destiny 2, Overwatch 2, and whatever else catches my eye. So hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and while you're at it, go ahead and hit that notification bell so you'll be informed whenever I go live or upload any new content. So, a Burgeon Diluc build. What does it look like? Well, as of right now, I'm still running Wolf's Greystone on Diluc. But there are other possible options you can go with. You can go with the new 4-star sword, being the Makahira Aquamarine? Aquamarine, I know that word, but that first word I'm pretty sure I butchered. But you can use this sword pretty well too. It's not bad. And then there's also a very, very free-to-play friendly option, being the Blood-Tainted Greatsword. You will most likely have a copy of this sword. Now, for artifacts, it's pretty straightforward and pretty obvious. Crimson Witch of Flames is definitely the go-to for this build. Reason is the 2-piece buffs pyro damage, and the 4-piece is the one we're going for. It increases the overload, burning, and burgeon damage by 40%. And if you happen to just want to run a vaporize or melt team, it'll increase the damage for that by 15%. But the other cool thing about the 4-piece is that using an elemental skill increases the 2-piece set bonus by 50% of its starting value for 10 seconds, and the max of that is 3 stacks. So you're not only buffing Burgeon damage, which is what we're going for, by 40%, but you're also increasing your pyro damage by 50% more, which will stack up. That's quite a lot. So this is definitely going to be the go-to artifact set for Diluc. One thing that I should also point out is that with the timepiece, the sands, you will have to have this be Elemental Mastery. You will have to trade out a attack piece sands, which would be most likely what you would think to put on a Diluc. But since we're focusing in on Burgeon damage scales with Elemental Mastery. So in order to get that Elemental Mastery stat up, you're going to have to obviously take out the attack piece sands that you would think to put on Diluc and replace it with an Elemental Mastery sands. So why is that? Well, as you can see, my Elemental Mastery on Diluc is 273. I've been trying to get this up to 300, rolling on artifacts. But what makes this important, and like I said, Elemental Mastery determines the reaction damage. So as you look right here, roughly in the middle, also increases damage dealt by Overload, Superconduct, Electric Charge, Burning, Shatter, Swirl, Bloom, Hyper Bloom, and the very last one, the one that's important, is Burgeon. Burgeon damage by 192% due to me being at 273. That's what I'm talking about. With a Burgeon Diluc build, you gotta have roughly high elemental mastery. So, like I'm saying, put an elemental mastery sands on your Diluc, and then try to get some elemental mastery substats on your other artifacts too. Obviously, you don't want to get trash artifacts, but just know that that's something you gotta look for. You gotta look for elemental mastery. So, what makes Diluc so good for a Burgeon team comp? Well, I will explain it. You see, Diluc is able to apply so much pyro. For example, his skill is constantly doing pyro damage with those 3 swipes. The other cool thing is that if you're using Dendro Traveler or Xingqiu or Yelan, you're going to be making a lot of Dendro cores. So you're going to have a lot of those green Dendro core things lying around on the map. And what's really good about Diluc in this instance is that he can pop his ult, and since it's a widespread AoE, he'll be able to hit all of them. This is what it'll be like. Bam! He will hit just about, if not every Dendro core on the field in front of you. And with his ult, it allows pyro infusion to happen on his sword, meaning more pyro damage, meaning more instances of hitting those Dendro cores with pyro, making them explode, causing Burgeon damage to all the enemies surrounding you, or the Dendro core itself. So with that being said, I'm pretty sure you're going to want to see some footage of this gameplay in action. Well, here we go. So right here is an example of me using this team against the Aeon Blight Drake. There's the Dendro cores, he's hitting the ult, every bit of those things exploded, causing Dendro damage. And then on the same flip side, you're just going to be causing more. As you can see, since there's pyro infusion on the sword, well, that means that with Yelan applying the Hydro, Traveler putting the Dendro, there you go, pop the ult, pop Yelan's ult, bam, more Burgeon damage. And here again, the ult, bam. It just speaks for itself. It's really good. And the same thing goes for when I fought the algorithm. Dendro Traveler pops their ult, Yelan pops her ult, Burgeon damage, and then just keep swiping with the sword. You're going to be popping more Hydro, more Dendro, and Diluc's going to be applying more pyro to make the Dendro cores just explode. It's very, very similar to my Kaching build. I mean, I'm literally just taking Kaching out, putting Diluc in, changes the team, borderline changes the team comp altogether, because now instead of having Electro, where we're doing Aggravate and Hyper Bloom, we're now just doing constant Burgeon damage. And so I even took this whole team comp and went and fought a more challenging boss, so to speak. So I decided to take this to Azdaha to see how it goes. It honestly turned out pretty well. Granted, I ended up fighting a Pyro Azdaha, but I managed to come up with a little strategy to be able to work around that. But the same thing pretty much still stands. I mean, it's going to be the same rotation. Traveler pops their ult. Yelan pops her ult. Pop the ult, and then just keep doing Burgeon damage. And as you can see, the damage is pretty good. On Azdaha, we're doing 22k on the Burgeon damage. And with Traveler's passive talent increasing elemental mastery of the characters within her Dendro field, Diluc's Burgeon damage is going to get stronger because he's the one that's going to be popping the Burgeon damage. But I'm sure you're thinking to yourself, Twigs, you're kind of using mostly 5 stars in this team. What if I don't have some of those 5 stars? Easy answer for you, my man. Easy answer. Dendro Traveler is already a free-to-play unit, so you really don't have anything to worry about when it comes to getting Dendro Traveler. All you have to literally do is go and change Traveler's attribute to Dendro. And for Yelan, granted, I know that Yelan's a 5-star, but there is a 4-star unit that you can literally replace Yelan with. His name is Xingqiu. You can literally take Yelan out and put Xingqiu in. If you happen to not have Xingqiu, then another easy accessible option is Barbara. Barbara will be able to apply Hydro. She passively applies Hydro with her skill. Granted, she obviously will not be applying Hydro as fast as Xingqiu or Yelan, but you can create Dendro cores by just using Barbara with Dendro Traveler and then have Diluc just blow them all up. So there are ways to be able to change up this team comp. Obviously, I'm just using the most optimized version, but there are ways to change things up. Like I said, you can take out Yelan and put in Xingqiu, or Barbara if you happen to not have Xingqiu. Zhongli, I'm just using as a shield unit, but you can replace Zhongli with any other shield unit that you might have as long as they don't mess with the Dendro reactions that are happening in this team comp. So I honestly have been impressed with Diluc. I honestly think Dendro helped Diluc just as much as Dendro helped Keqing. My only critique is that Burgeon is just not as strong as Hyper Bloom or Aggravate. I honestly do think that Aggravate and Hyper Bloom are just, for some reason, they just feel more stronger than Burgeon. Burgeon, I think, is still good, but it just kind of falls off when you compare it to Hyper Bloom and Aggravate. So I honestly think that giving Diluc a try on a Burgeon team comp is pretty fun, and I think you'll enjoy it. But like I said, it does fall a little short to Aggravate and Hyper Bloom. So head down to the comments down below. Let me know what you guys think of this build for Diluc. I've been pretty pleased with it. Let me know if you guys have given it a try. I would definitely be more than happy to hear your thoughts on a Burgeon Diluc build. If you're interested, if you're not interested, tell me what. I'm more than happy to hear you guys out. So with all that being said, hit that like and subscribe button. It helps out the channel, helps build a community over here. And while you're subscribing, go ahead and hit that notification bell so you'll be informed whenever I go live or upload any new content. So thank you guys so much for checking this video out, and I'll catch you guys later.